Hey all, how's it going? So I have my overnight highs up here, overnight lows down here. I only got this one trade today, right here. I didn't take this, so I think it looks good, but I did not enter right here. I only entered on this, but but the reason I couldn't take this is because I was dealing with website support because on the site there were some problems where no one could post photos. They could only post words, but they couldn't include photos of their charts, and I couldn't post photos either. So I was dealing with fixing that for a while, and during that time this happened. But I'll get to it when I get to it. So I got this right here. It was 1 to 2, 7 points. It looks pretty good. Basically, I started a little late today, around 9ish. It was right after bouncing right here. But what happens is we have a couple legs down. As soon as we reach the this previous swing, the overnight low, we bounce immediately. And we have a couple legs up, and as soon as we reach the 2 legs, it's not perfectly measured, but basically when we get to it, we just start flattening out. Clearly price cannot get above that level. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and that had a lot to do with this trade here. But anyway, so we push higher here. There's no good corrections until finally here, but it's too big. It goes through the EMA. It doesn't hold. Nothing to take there. And when you do get this close back above, it's really just a first entry thing and not good at all. Just one very sharp move down. So not good. But anyway, it makes a second leg. We get to these highs up here. Or not these highs, but we top out at here. We start forming highs up here. And as soon as that happens, we overshoot this channel, and then it immediately breaks. It recovers for a little tiny bit, but then it breaks, and then we get these 2 legs down, which pushes out of this range. And you would know that the range would be here because of the way, if you start drawing congestion here, it's like you can extend it down to there when it moves all the way up there. It's not cutting it. I mean, it's very close, so you can tell you can move it down to there. Even if you had it up there, everything would be the same in terms of these next trades. But here, I think it's an okay area. It's not perfect because of this downtrend right here. I wish you would have had more room, then it would have been good. But, it is off these lows. It overshot, but then it's closing back above while you're trying to fade this range. And, yeah, you already have 2 legs up, but you also have these 2 legs down now. Right after an overshoot, so it has okay context, but this the setup was not perfect because of this one downtrend here. Everything else looks good though for where it's at, but you would want more room to a downtrend right here, so you just can't really enter that. But anyway, you reach the highs up here again, and so now you've reached it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It's basically a quad top. On a really big picture, it would just be once, twice, but, it's one level at a time. So it's basically a quad top right there. You have 2 legs up. It is one big leg up, but how you could consider it is, at first, you would expect this measured move to be from here. And so you could say, it failed to make this measured move. I'm entering on the failure, and I'm expecting it to fail to reach this measured move because of this quad top up here. And now also the uptrend has a break, a couple small legs to a new high, so you can expect a trade. I was just expecting it to reach the other side of the range here. So I thought that looked pretty good. That ended up leading to this 2-legged move here, which I tried getting a channel off of. It did not hold a 3rd time. It clearly is reacting off of this trend line though, and we do have a couple attempts at a new low. And those fail, and price rushes above the EMA. But I'm going to take things one step at a time here. So we break out. We have a couple attempts to fade back in, but they're unsuccessful. And finally, you do get this big push up that breaks this downtrend. You get a big push up. You finally get this breakout pullback of this range. But once you have enough, and you also have this uptrend in play, and once you have enough room to this uptrend right here, you've already broken far back into the range. You're going to have to enter back into it. So there's really nothing perfect to enter on here. And I don't like any of it. So nothing there. We make that next leg down. we don't reach the measured move or the downtrend, lower downtrend line again. We just rush back above the EMA. We get this mini failed second entry. You can see first entry short, second entry short, failure. I'll do it again. First entry short, second entry short, failure. So it's a little bit harder to see when it's that congestive and it's on a bigger picture and it's not perfectly to the tick, but that is basically what's happening there. And then we get this break. We go into this congestion right here. Small breakout pullback. Nothing perfect again. A couple legs down. Attempts at a new low for this downtrend, but it fails, and we rush back above the EMA. And then here you can see a to the tick failed second entry. You can see first entry short, second entry short, failure. But I don't think that is very good at all because, well, let me draw it step by step. We would draw it like this. That little uptrend, we have a break, expecting a new high, but at that point it's extremely congestive, and it's really just the first attempt after the break. And it's not even a significant break, it's just, side-by-side bars leaving this uptrend line, so there's really nothing good there. This over here I think is pretty good, and you can kind of view it as a bigger picture, like downtrend break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower, couldn't quite complete that second attempt, and I only liked it after it was closing back above the EMA here. I don't like it entering right there. I only like it entering above this green bar and then using the full swing stop. And so that's what I was thinking. We clearly had a bullish bias. I saw that we did have, these couple legs up here. So we had these couple legs up. It didn't quite reach it at this point yet. I think I made it a little bit too big. Let me move it back. So we still hadn't quite reached it at this point. We could still reach it, and we have a bullish bias at this point. I mean, even though price was failing to go up higher here, we still have this massive push higher, and then it couldn't get to a certain low. It couldn't even reach this measured move before reversing back higher. So even though we're in the lower half, clearly, price gave up on going short around here, and we're still going higher. We still have these higher highs and higher lows, and we're coming back on that now. So I like that. It's basically just a reversal from this downtrend area, and yeah, once again, I didn't like how it rushed back below the EMA because it's kind of, since you are directly in the middle of the range, it's just bulls and bears fighting. But there's just more bullish things than there are bearish things. We're getting higher highs again. We do have these lower highs, but I mean, we have a massive push off of the overnight low, so we have a bullish bias right now. And so anyway, we push higher and we reach that target. We stay in this uptrend here, and then we start to have an overshoot, and then these very shallow corrections that don't reach the EMA. When we finally do, that's just a first entry, only off the EMA. There's nothing particularly good there at all. And then when we do have this second leg, we can't reach the measured move, and then the bar is really big, and it's clearly there's a range here. So there's, you can't enter long on that, and then only after it plummets back down is when we find this high, really. I mean, it's kind of hard to find at first, especially because it's a strange looking channel, and there could be something like this, but every time it breaks. So I would put it here, it would immediately break right here, and then when you extend it to there, it immediately broke right here. So I ended up kind of thinking of it as a spiking channel. But anyway, we push higher here. There's nothing. I don't like any trades in here. We plummet down. We hold a third time here. We get this third bounce, which I don't think there's a good setup for it, really. It's just because you could expect symmetry when you get something that far down, but you don't get any good entry at first, and then by the time you do get an entry, it's you're entering so high, and oh, whoops. You're just entering so high, and it has to go far past that swing. There's just a few things I don't like about it. I think the symmetry, because when you do get a very fast push in one direction and then it clearly finds resistance, a lot of times it'll you know, look almost perfectly symmetrical. It'll go up just as fast as it came down. That's very common. I probably should have considered that more, but in general, I just didn't like it for all the other reasons that weren't the symmetry, so I did not take it. I'm gonna mark it with this right here. So anyway, we push higher, and then finally we do make a double top up here. We rush back below the EMA, and first entry long, second entry long, failure, and that clearly is a trap. It clearly fails right there. It creates the second big leg here, so first leg break, second leg, and as that forms, first you would have it a little bit more like this, then you get this break, and this right here I don't think is good to take. It's just, you have this, you have the uptrend break, first attempt at a new high, but it's, you know, we're in this uptrend, and I just don't want to take this short that, you know, the uptrend only has one attempt at a new high. I could make a second attempt, especially with the bias, you know, with this trend here, and I feel like this bigger uptrend is going to win out over this smaller downtrend, and then it's staying above the EMA on both of these swings here, and then it's barely closing below. Like this first push higher, and then it closes back below, it's closing way higher than it closes below, and then it basically holds off the EMA, closes way higher than it closes below, so I don't like it. With the context and the setup, it's not good. But you can move the trend line to there, see how it holds. It actually held really well, and there's no good trade here. Horrible signal bar. I mean, it's just a closing in the middle, you know, not good. And then finally, we do get down to this trend line again. We close out, and then we're having an overshoot of this downtrend here. So at this point, it's getting very confusing, and then it just gets choppy. You go into a range, and then you get a couple attempts to break out, but it's like I don't want to go short right here directly into this trend line. So I don't see anything good there. And then we have these couple legs down. So yeah, I didn't get to trade as much as I wanted to today because of dealing with support, but yeah, I only got this one. I did not enter on this, unfortunately. I'm going to delete the RR. But yeah, I guess that's going to be it for the video. So yeah, have a good day, everybody.